Hello everyone, my name is Gear Fisher. I am the co-founder and CEO of Onform, and you are here today hopefully to get back to the basics. I wore my special shirt. My webinar shirt matches the one in the photo, so I thought that was appropriate. It's always good to make jokes even though I can't see your responses, but we'll try and keep this fun and informative. Today we are going to cover off a lot of the basics, recording, sharing, etc. Before I get too far into that, I want to let everyone know that we have our marketing director, Sarah, is also with me here in the background. And if you have questions, please use the Zoom Q&A to ask any questions you'd like. You can even preemptively ask questions if you have something that you'd like to learn and make sure that I cover. Feel free to put that in there. She is going to be feeding me those throughout the webinar. But today I hope to make sure everybody has a good level set of the functionalities in Onform. And we're going to show a few cool new things that haven't been seen before because we like to do that. And we're also going to cover off mostly on things that you're going to find useful as school and such starts back up. Now, granted, we have hundreds of people that have signed up for this webinar across 50 different sports, bowling, softball, golf, baseball, skiing, you name it. We have somebody out there. I'm going to try and bounce around to a couple different sports in my demo and examples, but of course, our app works for literally any activity that you can record a video for and provide feedback. We're here to be the platform for communication and to give you great tools to make video work for you instead of you having to work so hard to make video useful. So if I step into the agenda for the day, this is kind of what we're going to touch on. We'll set up your profile in the account. So people that are new might not realize some of the customizations that you can do in terms of getting your school logo or your company profile image logo into the app. We'll talk about how things get set up for your individuals and teams, maybe show you how collections are used. That might be a little new for some of you. And then we'll dive deeper into the recording, the analyzing and sharing capabilities, as well as touch on a few tips and tricks and show you some of the new stuff and talk about some things that are coming up in the near future. So without any further ado, I'm going to actually get started. I'll share my iPad screen and Sarah will chime in and drop a question in anytime somebody has something that I can touch on, or if I'm missing something, please just make a note and I'll circle back and cover it. But we plan to spend the next 30-45 minutes together, and depending on Q&A, we have up to an hour, so we'll hopefully make this really useful for you. So let's dive in and get started. I'm going to start sharing my iPad here. And if the Zoom gods are happy today, you're going to see it. Okay, here we are. So as the agenda sort of outlined, I want to cover off some basic stuff and then dive into some deeper things, but we're not going to get super technical today. Let's just start by talking about the lay of the land here. Over on the left side, my Onform might look a little different to yours, especially if you're new. So on the home menu here, the library, all files, that contains all your videos, reference content, which is where you can store templates and videos that you might want to compare to. But down here we have our typical listing of individuals and teams, and I happen to have them grouped. In fact, I made a group, or what we call a collection, called Back to School, in which I have organized a few individual athletes as well as one of my baseball teams that I'm working with. But as I scroll down here, you can see we can create any type of categories and you can add your players, athletes, teams into them. So depending on how you're working, maybe you've got a collection called Varsity and you have all your players in there, or you set up a team that way. We're going to get into that in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to show you how I've set things up where I have them grouped in collections, and then we'll actually be clicking into each individual athlete and or team and working that way. Before we go too far though, I want to draw your attention to the top corner here. You'll notice mine says Onform Academy. So a little while ago, we introduced the concept of organizations. And if you've signed up within the last 2-3 months, one of the questions during your sign up process will ask, what organization are you with? So that might be, Wilson Academy, or the name of your school or university, and that would appear here. And off to the right is your profile icon. This starts out with just being your initials. I'm going to click into there real quick, and it gives you a bunch of features here. The main one is the ability to edit your profile. And underneath the profile is where I can upload my personal image, my face shot there. It lists your role. I can also add a booking website URL. We don't actually do lesson or appointment booking, but we easily link over to that. I'll cover that in a second. And something you guys might not have figured out yet or seen, we allow you to upload multiple background photos. So this would be where you might want to upload your team logo. I happen to have an Onform, your logo here, seems very appropriate. You can brand this so that when you share videos with your athletes, they'll see your school logo, and it's kind of cool to just personalize that way. So just wanted to make sure everybody does this. Make sure you upload your headshot here, the photo, and this would be your background, like school logo, mascot, etc. There's some other features in here, but we won't dive too deep in there. Notice this is where you access more settings. And we have a ton of different settings for customizing various features of the app. You can check those out later. And really important is this little question mark. Under here, we've got our blog is linked. We have a ton of tutorial videos on YouTube. You can leave us a good rating, hopefully good. 5 stars would be great, but that's up to you. And you can contact support. This is probably the main one. And when you hit contact support, it pulls up both our knowledge base, and you can tap ask and submit a support ticket, and our ACE support team will respond within a few hours. I can assure you, because we are monitoring that constantly. We pride ourselves on our support, and we never leave you hanging even after you've purchased. You will find that we really do a great job with our ACE support team. So those are just some places that you can explore. I wanted to cover off on the profile and such. And let's talk a little bit more about the left side underneath home here. Number one, library all files. This is going to be every video across every athlete and team all in one place. You can see up here I have over 3,000 videos in here. And if I just scroll back, it's all recorded in reverse chronological order, so you can just see all the videos that appear. And it's quite powerful in that if I use tags and titles, I can search and filter down to videos across all my athletes and teams. It's an easy way to go find things. I also want to draw your attention to default private. We'll get to that actually in the workspace. Maybe I was premature there. We'll cover that in just a second. But library all files is an aggregation of every video across every team and individual, so you can find it all in one place. Kind of like your camera roll, but it's all within Onform. Next thing I want to draw your attention to, all these collections that I mentioned earlier, they are managed under this edit button. And if you don't have an edit button, the reason would be because you've signed up as an individual. So only coaches have this functionality, which you could go into your profile and change yourself to a coach. But under here, I have a whole bunch of collections that I can sort, organize, hide. I can create a new collection. And the power of collections is kind of like folders on your computer. It's simply for the coach's organizational capabilities. Your athletes don't even know they're in a collection. And an athlete can be in multiple collections at once, meaning they might simultaneously be on a collection called Varsity, as well as a collection called 12U Girls Swim Team, okay? So these are your organizational capabilities, and you can experiment with how you want to use collections. There's a lot of really powerful functionality, like being able to bulk message everybody inside a collection, share an entire collection of athletes with an assistant coach. But we're not going to cover all that today. You can find information on that on our YouTube channel. We're going to cover off on the really core functionality of record, analyze, and share. So we're finally there. Let's actually pause for a minute. I'm going to just check with Sarah here and see if we have anything that needs to be covered off on. I don't see any messages at the moment. So here we go. Let's start into an athlete, an individual, Adam Fisher, for example. And you'll see that once we click in there, it has a library, a chat, a note section, and if I don't click so much, and a lesson booking section. So by and large, you're going to spend most of your time inside the library. Again, the library is reverse chronologically ordered. It's got all the videos of that person here, and you can see I'm just scrolling back in time. This happens to be a golfer. And inside the library is also where you're going to record. Okay, so I'm going to actually hit the record button. And of course, I'm just sitting in my office, but I want to draw your attention to a few things in here. Number one, there are various recording modes. So manual is the most common, where you're just going to press the red button like you always do, hit the start button, and a few minutes later hit stop, or a few seconds later hit stop. We also have a one-tap recording mode. This is a really powerful tool that allows you to capture the action right as it is happening. I'm going to demonstrate that in a second, but let's go through a couple of these other features on the video recording screen. Number one, right above the red button here, this is your resolution in frames per second. So when I click on that button, I can adjust the resolution in frames per second. Now, in general, I recommend people use 1080p at 120 FPS. And the reason I say that is because most of the time you're recording 10 to 30 seconds worth of action, right? Our app is designed to capture a specific action and then for you, the coach, to provide feedback, whether it's a quarterback throw, a punt, a swing, a hit, a particular fielding maneuver, or a basketball free throw. Generally, unlike, say, other apps that are recording an entire game, we specialize in short form video that allows the coach to review it in slow motion and give you feedback. So 120 FPS is a good middle range. You can go all the way up to 240 FPS, and you can go all the way down to 30 FPS. And the reason is, you'll note, below here it says you can record for 15 minutes maximum at 720, 30 FPS. Maybe that's a hockey session. Maybe that is a 5-minute session, in basketball. But as you go up in resolution in frames per second, the files get much, much bigger. And in fact, at 1080p and 240 FPS, you end up with nearly a gigabyte file after only a minute. Now, if you know anything about megabytes and gigabytes, it's a huge file. It will take a long time to upload to the cloud and to be pulled back down from the cloud. So we recommend somewhere in here, maybe 60 FPS is good. You can experiment, but I'm going to leave it at 1080 and 120 FPS. You also have the option to change cameras. So my particular iPad does not have an ultra wide lens. If I was on my phone, you would see the other lenses that your phone has, like the ultra wide lens or the telephoto lens. You can change from the standard camera lens to the other lenses here. So look for that. Obviously, it's a hardware limitation, so if you don't have that lens, it's not going to show up like mine. But if you do, pay attention and see you can get different lenses and control them specifically within the app. Now, this is probably one of my favorite all-time features, and people will love this, and we're going to dive in here. So the button right above, and I'm on an iPad. If you're on an iPhone, you're going to see a little Running Man icon only like that, but it does the same thing. When I tap shutter speed, this gives you an interface to essentially stop motion blur. We should have some sort of campaign that has a big line through it that says stop motion blur. In lieu of that, we have a shutter speed control. So check it out. I'm going to record something very exciting by hand right in front here. So I'm going to hit the start button. I'll focus on my hand and, of course, move my hand real quick. You'll notice that even in that quick motion at 120 FPS, my fingers are very blurry. Well, the 120 FPS doesn't have anything to do with how good a quality or how little stop motion or motion blur is visible. The way to stop motion blur is with shutter speed. So I'm going to go to shutter speed. I'm going to drag that little guy up. It's going to get a little bit darker. So I might want to brighten it with a little bit more ISO. You will have to experiment for your lighting conditions. But this is really powerful indoors, especially. If you're outside in the bright sun, it won't matter as much. But I'm going to do that same experiment here. Move my hand around a little bit. And now check it out. Which video would you rather have? Here's my hand moving the same speed, but everything's totally clear. So that is a super handy way for you to get really good stop motion action. Maybe you're filming a batter and you want to see the right at impact, or a golfer, or maybe it's even a volleyball serve and you want to see exactly how the person's hand is hitting the ball. Use shutter speed to get really good stop motion video. And that is the key that you'll unlock with that feature inside our camera app. Now, there's a few other settings in here. We have a skeleton display live. I can draw lines live on the view here. So if I was setting up a particular athlete, I can actually draw and record those lines into the camera. But I'm not going to dive too deep into that. We'll talk about that in a more advanced session sometime in the future. But I really wanted to point out the shutter speed feature because it is so helpful, and so many coaches don't realize exactly what that does. They've always been thought to believe that FPS is what makes really good, clear video. All right, let's talk about that one tap mode that I mentioned a minute ago. I just want to tap on this because what it does is it's constantly ingesting the video. And one tap, instead of hitting start, waiting for the person to do their maneuver or their action and then hitting stop, I'm going to actually hit the record button at the moment of impact, or the moment of when the action happens. Maybe you're recording a baseball at bat. You don't know when the pitcher is going to throw and you don't want to miss it, so you hit start and you have all this time in between while they're standing there and looking each other down. Instead, use one tap mode and watch this. I'm going to slap my hand on the table and then I'm going to press the record button. Boom, record, and check out what we get. We actually get a video with my hand hitting the table right in the middle of the video. So we just recorded a 4-second video with those lines that I drew from earlier in the live drawing, because what I did is there's a pre-tap duration. We actually went back in time 2 seconds and we waited 2 seconds forward in time after I tapped that record button. So I just wanted to call this feature out. It's another one that coaches don't always fully understand, but you'll appreciate so much. Now you can simply tap that record button as the batter takes a swing or as the ball gets to the catcher, and you'll end up with perfect clips of each swing during an at-bat. Okay? Now we have a bunch of other features in here like auto detect and multicam mode. I'm not going to cover that today, but again, check out our website and our YouTube for finding out more on the recording features. Bottom line, we have really powerful tools that are easy to use that allow you to capture video and get really good quality, even better than you can get just with your normal camera. Now I'm going to dismiss that, and you're going to see those videos that I just captured are here on the library. They're also automatically backed up to the cloud. That's what this little circle with a check mark means. And you don't have to worry about are things saved. Like Apple has never asked you where to save a video. Some of our older apps that you might have worked with will say, oh, do you want to save it in your locker? Do you want to save it on the device? We just take care of all that for you. So what we do is we record the video, save it on your device, and then we back it up to the cloud. After a period of time, let's say a week or two, we eventually remove it from your device so that your device doesn't fill up or use too much memory. Now it's going to use some because videos are large, but you can maybe get away with 20, 30 gigabytes at the most, in most cases. And then you can see like this video here is a cloud with a down arrow. That means it's stored in the cloud, but in order for me to watch it, I have to be able to click on it. It's going to fetch it off the cloud, and now I can actually play the video. So in those cases, if you were offline, maybe you're out on the baseball field or you're in the, inside your swimming, pool where you don't have Wi-Fi or internet, you wouldn't be able to play that video. So we're always balancing here a little bit between the accessibility, playability of a video and whether or not you're filling up the storage of your device. Because videos are so big, it's pretty easy to fill your device. Now, here's the trick. If I have a video that I never want to be, I never want the chance of it missing it. So I always want it to be on my device so that I'll always be able to play it. Maybe it's the perfect pitch from a famous baseball player, or a perfect swing. I can favorite a video by clicking this little star. And what that will do is it will actually tell our archiving system, leave this video on the device. And it makes it a favorite. And I can even go up into the search, okay, and click up here and type starred, and it will filter down to all videos that are starred. And you'll notice one that I pulled up a while back is got the cloud with the check mark, meaning it's instantly playable. So you can star an item to have it always available on your device. Otherwise, we'll just take care of it and syncing it. And if you're always on Wi-Fi, then it probably won't even matter. I want to also mention that Onform does not need Wi-Fi to work. You can use it totally offline, and you can use it even sharing videos. It'll queue up all the shares. When you get back to Wi-Fi, it will automatically share out all the videos to the players or students that you have designated. So offline use is fine. Online it is obviously works fine as well. And that's a little bit of the recording capabilities and a couple little tips in there as we went. Now, other features inside the workspace, there's this chat. So the whole premise of Onform is to give you, the coach, the ability to record and share your coaching expertise with your students and players with video feedback. So if I want to record and share this exciting video to one of my players, or to Adam Fisher in this case, I would normally long press the video, tap share, and then I would pick Adam. Okay, I'll talk about the other people in a moment. I'm going to tap next. I'm going to say, nice video, and press share. That is the most basic way to share a video, and that video will now appear in the chat. And this is literally like built-in DM, direct messaging. Onform is a platform for you to capture video and as well as communicate video. And to do that, we built in a direct chat messaging system. And so that long press and share uses an app-to-app sharing mechanism where I would have invited Adam and he would have the Onform app and he'll get a notification and be able to see that video. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but I just wanted to mention that in the process of sharing, I actually designated this library, in the process of setting up this particular athlete, I designated this library as default shared. Meaning that every time I record a video, it automatically shares to everybody who's a member of this workspace. And in this case, I've actually added 3 other coaches, Lori, Devanshu, and Lexi. So if you have assistant coaches, if you work in a team, maybe you have kids coming into a facility and they might see one of 5 different coaches, we have the ability for you to team coach individuals and be able to see any video that any other coach records of that student. And it makes a really powerful sort of networking system so that no matter which coach records video, you're always in the know and can have access to those videos as well. That's what the benefit of turning it on in default shared mode is. If I click this and go to default private, you'll notice these little icons will disappear. When I'm in the default private mode of the library, that means I have to explicitly share a video via the chat to my student Adam, okay? And or to Coach Lori or Devanshu or Lexi. And so to explicitly share, again, long press, tap share, and pick whoever I want to share it to. I could even share it to everyone in just one click. And I hit next, and it's like a group text. It'll go into an everyone channel here. I'll just show you. And now everybody who's a member of this channel is going to be able to see that video. So some powerful recording tools and some powerful sharing mechanisms there. But the most common one is simply to keep it private and then share as you decide. You don't always want your athlete to see every single video that you record of them. But again, depending on what sport you're coaching, depending on what you're doing, you just might. and it might be easier to do that. Hey, what do you know? There's Lexi, who's also part of the team, replying live in the moment. Cool, so there's the library, there's the chat, there's also this notes section. This notes section is simply some text notes that you can keep on this student. It's purposefully very simple, plain text, and it's only private to you. No other coach can see this. These coaches can't see it, the athlete can't see it, only I, the coach that wrote it, can see it. The beauty here is you can record or make a note of what you worked on, so that the next time you see this particular athlete, you'll remember, oh, we were, struggled with hip turn, check in next lesson, whatever. Easy little notes that keep the context of all the information regarding your coaching, regarding this particular athlete, and you can quickly check in your notes as they come up for the next appointment and be like, hey, Adam, how's those exercises for your hip turn working? Let's keep going on that. Makes the consistency of coaching so much easier. The last main feature over here, the book lesson. Remember back at the beginning of the webinar, we went into the edit function of our profile and we added a URL for our lesson booking link. Now, this button gets exposed into all of your athletes' workspaces, so your athlete can click book lesson and it will load the URL of whatever you put in there. I happen to put my own Calendly demo link in there. So you can see it's loading a web page, and now your athlete, your student, doesn't need to go somewhere else to book another appointment with you. They can access it directly from Onform, and you don't have to change from whatever booking engine you're already using. So you can easily link it. It keeps everything in one place. And if you don't enter a booking link in here, this button doesn't show up. Very common in a team scenario. You don't really need a lesson booking. They just show up for the next practice and away you go. So some powerful 4 key features of a workspace right there. Let me take a moment and see if I can answer some questions. What are the most efficient ways to record and tag the swings in the moment? He doesn't get the players' names in advance. Yeah, no problem. So what he's saying is not always in scenarios do you have the ability to actually add your student first or your athlete first. In that case, what I would do is I would just go to the library all files. I would record a video as you wish, in the moment. And in fact, you can do this right here. So I'll open up that video. I can then tap the 3 buttons and say edit person. And I can either add a new person straight away, which I can do right there, set that up and it'll tag them. Or after the fact, maybe I'm back home and I've recorded a video. You'll see this doesn't have any person information underneath here. You can always go back and tag the athlete afterwards and even create the athlete's workspace, and it'll put that in that athlete's workspace after the fact. And you can do that in bulk. So I could pick, multiple different videos, go to this more icon, say edit person. I'm even going to add a new person, Charles Barkley. Add without sending an invite. I don't need another person on the support team, and hit done. And now it's going to actually tag and move those into Charles Barkley's folder. So you'll see that we now have a Charles Barkley loaded, and I hope it doesn't let me down. I promise this is going to refresh and show those 3 videos will show up there. Let me jump back. Of course, it's complaining. Well, we're going to skip that for now, but it will tag and eventually show those 3 videos in the Charles Barkley folder. That's how I would do it when you don't know the name of the player in advance. Any other question? I don't see any other immediate questions at the moment, so I'll continue on. All right, we haven't talked about the analysis tools of Onform yet. So over here, I happen to have some different things. Here's a baseball team that I created, and you'll note a team, by the way, Very similar workspace as an individual, except the actual team name is up top here. But notice I've added all the team members, okay? And what this does is it's still only one library, so I record everybody's videos under this one library. Again, for that user who asked about recording when you don't know the person's name, you might create a team called July 1st activity. And you might record everybody under the July 1st activity, right? And then later go back and split out who they are. But in this case, using a team is really useful when everybody's practicing together, because then you're not switching back and forth. You're on the field. You can record Bill, you can record Tom, you can record Charlie, you can record Sally, whatever. You can just sit there and record, and organize it later, and it all goes into the one place. Now, what's also powerful is I've added all the members of the team. I can break those into groups. So I might have an infielders group, a pitchers group, or throwers, etc. And so the power here, this ends up kind of being like text messaging. If I want to take this video and share it within the team, I can send it to all my infielders in one click. Okay? You know, great example of a home run, whatever. And I hit share, and it now went to all the infielders in one shot. So they'll all get a notification, they'll open up their app, and away you go. So I just took a brief aside there. I want to talk about the team structure. Most of the time, we recommend using individuals. I recommend using individuals with collections, especially. But in the case where you are on field with a team, I would say go ahead and use a team when everybody's practicing together. Note that the team is intended for people that know each other. Everybody in the team is going to see this roster. They will not see videos that are not tagged to them. So, you know, Hank Wilson will not see Joe Smith's videos unless you purposefully share them to each of them. But Joe will see this same roster list, okay? And it's intended so that the team members can communicate with each other. Hey, what did coach mean by coming through the left? Or, hey, can I get a ride to practice? So it would be weird to have a team scenario when people don't know each other. Unless you want to foster communication amongst them, then they can see that. But again, I would say the general rule of thumb is use a team when everybody is practicing together and they, you know each other. Okay, now let's get into the analysis stuff. Let's go ahead and open up this video of a batter. So in the video player, right, I can put my finger on this yellow dot. I can scrub this forward. I can also put my finger on the wheel here, and this kind of has some momentum to it. So as I swipe my finger back and forth, it's just kind of easy to, this is called scrubbing. It's kind of just easy to scrub the video back and forth. So now if I really want to get precise, I can use these buttons. So frame by frame truly is controllable from these buttons right here. And I can just hit the play button and watch it in real time as well. So I can hit play and it'll just play in normal speed. I can also control the playback speed over here. So if I really want to play it in slower quarter or eighth speed, I can do that. And then some other little nifty things. I can loop it using this button. It just turned yellow. And then other things I can do here that aren't super obvious, but I can also drag this timer. And if I click on the timer again, let me tap it, it will actually zero it. So maybe I want to time, you know, from this moment to that moment, or maybe it's timing a backswing, backswing or forward swing. So just a little thing, and you can come back and tap that again, and it'll go back to the normal timer for the video. Those are how you can control the playback. You'll note up in the corner here, these are the drawing tools. And so if I tap each icon again, I get access to the drawing tool menu. So a arrow is very popular. And if I click it again, I actually want to make that a red arrow. So now I've got a red arrow to draw lines and point to things. I can use two-finger pinch, just like you would on a photo, to zoom in. Now maybe I want to draw right to his chin or point out his knee. I can also click back on that icon and control the thickness of the line. So now I'm zoomed in, I want a little thinner line. I'll zoom back out. And you have all these tools at your disposal. So line, arrow, angle. This is kind of a nice one where it just draws a angle to horizontal. And if I draw it left to right, it goes the acute angle. If I draw it right to left, it is the obtuse angle. I'll clear some of these out. Now that's different than a constrained angle, if you will. So if I click on that, in this case, I want to measure his knee bend. So I'm going to draw a line down one line, and there you go, 104-degree knee bend. And if I click any of these tools again, they become highlighted. I can drag them around, reposition them, move them, or I can just delete them. Okay, so pretty familiar tools that you've likely encountered either in other apps or in other, even Instagram, things like that. Moving down the line, circles, shapes, freehand drawing. And there's one here that astute webinar attendees will see that's brand new, and that is text. This is not available yet, but should be available within a week or so. I can now place text on the video. So wherever I click, it will bring up a text box, and I can say, keep your feet on the ground. Tap done, and now I can actually place text just like I would place a line or angle. So that's a brand new feature that will come out, should come out in the next few days, next week at the latest. But you can now add text directly to a video, one of our most highly asked for features. And like all the other tools, notice I have a yellow text. I can type and get yellow text, or I can have white text, right? I can save these five, sorry, the video keeps jumping off my thing. I can save these as shortcuts. So maybe I really like the line angle tool, the red arrow tool, and I'll change that to red. And maybe I really like, I don't know, a box, a rectangle. So I now have a rectangle, a circle at my disposal, and this line angle tool all easily at my disposal in the shortcuts. And if I tap it again, I can access any of my tools from there. Continuing on here, there's also the ability to compare. I tap compare, I tap add. I can go to anywhere in my Onform universe. A lot of times we'll want to go to the reference content library and pull up a video of some of our reference content. You'll notice it started with the workspace that I was already in. So maybe I'll go pull up this batter. I can say select. Now I can compare two batters side by side. Now this happens to be a lefty versus a righty. I can even edit, change, and change this video out to a different video. Or in this case, I want to flip him. He's now a righty. So there you go. Now I've just taken a lefty, turned him into a right-hander, and I can compare him to this right-hander as well. I can also link these timelines. So if I get the two videos in about the same point, I can tap link, and we can now move these back and forth at the same timeline or similar timeline. And then I can even overlay them with this button right here. So now we've got both videos overlaid. I can use my fingers to change the size of the two videos on top of each other so that they fit exactly. And I can use this opaque or opacity to do overlays and compare. Okay, so some really cool potential with the overlay and the various capabilities of the analysis tools. I can also turn on my coach cam. Hey, there I am. So it's now doing the front screen to me. And where this all culminates is the ability to do a voiceover. So I'm going to do that now. It's this button right here. I'll press that. It goes and asks you for permission to record screen and microphone. Okay, Bob, here we are. I'm going to analyze your swing. I've already got you lined up side by side with a pro. Notice how his knee is pointing here and your knee is pointing there. Really like what you're doing. Maybe we also want to take a look at an angle. All right. And you can turn that camera off so that it's entire view. I can also pause the voiceover and go out and swap out the video. Maybe I want to change this video to, any old other video within the workspace here. So I'm gonna go pick, how about this one? Something I recorded off the screen or off TV. So just for example, there's another video. Now I'm gonna hit resume and we can continue on talking about, another video there. When I'm done, I'm gonna hit stop. Okay, Bob, and you don't have to wait. I'm going to analyze your swing. I've already got you lined up side by side with a pro. Notice how his knee is pointing here. So I simply tap save. It's giving you a preview of the video that I just created, right? And I can say comparison video. Tap save. And then it assumes you want to share that. So it pulls up the sharing screen and I can share it to anybody in my team. I'll share it to everyone all at once and say share. And now everybody in the everyone group will see that video. They'll get a notification. And here it is automatically uploading to the cloud. Everybody gets the notification and can come in and watch that video just like any other video that we put in the system. Lastly, I want to mention, we don't lock you into only sharing into app to app, between you and your student. You can go into any video that you'd like, long press on it and tap share. So this is the sharing screen. And if I hit this more icon, I can share it via email. I can copy the link and paste it in text or whatever. I can go to share other apps. I can text it to somebody, okay? So we have all the sharing means, or even save the video to your camera roll for later, for whatever you want. We make it really easy to share app to app, so between you and your student. It also makes sure that the video stays full HD quality, etc. But I wanted to point out, we don't lock you into the platform. You can share it externally. People maybe don't want to download the app. They don't have to. They can just get a link and then view the video straight on a website, on our website. Super easy. And you can see that here. If I say share, more icon, share via email, simply loads up your default email and adds a link directly to it. Couldn't be much easier than that. All right, so that covers some setup of athletes. It covers some of the analysis tools, the recording tools. The voiceover is kind of the big one that allows you to provide your coaching feedback to your players and your athletes. I am right at the 45-minute mark here, talking a bunch. Let me go and check in with Sarah and see what kind of questions I can answer here. And if you haven't seen something that you want me to cover, please let her know and I will dive in. Let's see. If I have 3 coaches, how do I set up those 3 coaches to have access to each other's videos? I have a team created, a bowler. Okay. If I was able to share our videos, we could collaborate better. Okay, no problem. The easiest way is if I go back here, when I go to my Onform Academy, I can actually go to manage staff. And so our system is designed to allow you to invite your other coaches, okay, as staff members. And then you'll note when I add a student from scratch or a player from scratch, I can say add manually. And golf, I'm just going to say, Allison Jones. As soon as I say add, normally you would invite them and get them an invite code so that they could connect with you. I'm going to say add without sending invite for now. The very next screen allows you to choose which coaches you would also like to include on Allison's workspace. I'll choose Coach Lori and Michael. And when I say add, those 2 coaches are automatically added. They don't have to do any work, okay? So now when I record a video, I'm on one tap mode. We'll go to manual just because. So I'll record a 2-second video. We are set on the private by default mode, if you read this here. But what I can do is just go to default shared. And now every single time I record a video, it's automatically going to share that video to Lori and Mike in the process. And for any existing student, for any existing student or athlete, player that you have set up, so like Jen Aaron here, I can just go to the more icon inside her workspace and say, add a new person to this workspace, or even pick from other people in my current organization. But I end up with the same idea here. I could change this role to coach or parent and add them in, and they end up on the members list down here automatically. So we have a really powerful, easy way to use our organizational tools to do multi-coach coaching for group scenarios where you have multiple people that are looking after each individual. Another little tip I want to leave you with. This is a really cool one, especially in a school setting. When you saw me add a student, I tap the plus button. Normally you're going to say add new people and add individual. If you have a class, this bulk individual is amazing for setting up a class. So imagine you're in the front of the classroom and you want to set up all of your kids in a biomechanics course, or maybe you're the coach and you're having you've got all your players in the locker room. I can say bulk add individuals. I could even connect them to a particular, add these people into a particular collection. Okay, like, oh, I don't know, maybe they'd be in my baseball and softball collection. And when I say create invite, this code, which you could now write on the whiteboard, or you could email or whatever, each person now would simply go to Onform, say I have a code, and enter DN4HH, and it'll automatically connect them to you without you having to type each of their names in first. So this is how you could add 100 people all at once. Maybe it's a camp or a clinic. You can simply use that bulk invite code multiple times, and each time somebody uses that bulk invite, it says, oh, enter your profile, enter your information, and automatically connects them to you and attaches them into a particular collection if you want. This can also be done in a team scenario as well. So if I was in Bear Creek Baseball, I would go to groups. I would go to the add new person, and I can, hang on, there we go. I can go right here to members and say bulk invite athletes is what I was looking for, and I can just bulk invite all of my players so I don't have to manually type them all into a team. So we have bulk invites for players of a team, and we now have bulk invites for individuals that will get connected into your all individuals collection, or if you create a collection, for example, ladies league, something like that, they would automatically get connected into the ladies league collection. Super powerful way to manage the invite process for lots of people at once. All right, I think we've covered a ton of stuff. We are almost an hour in. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, support@onform.com. You can reach out to me, Gear, G-E-A-R, at onform.com anytime. We do free Zoom training. We do unlimited free support. We're always here to help you get the most out of the platform. I'd encourage you to check out our YouTube channel with tons of how-to videos on everything from setting up athletes to deep dive on multicam and fancy features. And in the very near future, excuse me, we'll be coming out with our 3D data capabilities and look for some of our more advanced tools as you get used to it, used to using the platform. And in 2 weeks, we will be doing another how-to webinar like this on how to use Onform to do live coaching with your players and students, so that you can do check-ins and do remote live coaching and feedback just using existing tools and Onform. So with that, I'll sign off. Thank you so much for watching. Reach out anytime, and I hope you found this useful. Take care.